GWATA TV gives you a first look at North Central Washington's business news. You'll hear from our local business, tech, and education companies as Jenny discusses hot topics and current events with some of the best innovators and pioneers in North Central Washington.
Hello, North Central Washington. Welcome to GWATA TV. I'm your host, Jenny Rojnasatian, and on today's episode, I'll be interviewing Charlie Miracle from Cordell, Neher Company. Cordell, Neher Company has been an advocate, champion, and financial supporter to my nonprofit, GWATA, for many years. So it's exciting to have them on the show today and talk about the work that they're doing in our community. Since I'm talking about partnerships, I'd also like to highlight the foundational partners that allow GWATA to do programming, events, and even this TV show. We'd like to thank Local Telecommunications, GWATA, Microsoft, Native Network, the Port of Chelan County, the Port of Douglas County, and of course, Confluence Health and Cordell Neher. So stay tuned for a great episode talking with Charlie Miracle from Cordell Neher, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to GWATA TV. I'm here today with Charlie Miracle. He's a manager at Cordell Neher Company. Charlie, welcome to GWATA TV.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Yeah, we're excited to have you on air today. We're going to make it fun and lively for those who are worried about it being a tax-only session.
How boring. That would be really boring.
Right.
So hopefully we can do better than that.
Right. So let's talk about the fun stuff first, which is the team at Cordell Neher. You just recently joined back. Tell us a little bit about the firm and, what does Cordell Neher Company do?
Sure. So we're a local CPA and wealth management firm with deep roots in the community. We started back in, I believe, 1988 was when the two other CPA firms merged together and formed Cordell Neher Company, and been going strong since then.
So it's a 30-year anniversary then
It's
this year.
Up close.
Coming
yeah.
up. Okay.
Yeah.
And for those of you who may not have been near your office, you guys are located where?
We're located out in Old Station on Penny Road. Pretty easy to find out there, right across from kind of the Arby's area that's there. So really nice.
And your team provides full suite of services, right? So tell us a little bit about what type of services you provide to businesses or individuals at the firm.
Sure. So we provide the full financial accounting services, primarily tax-related tax services and consulting services for businesses of all sizes, and also financial preparation services, financial statement preparation for all the way from compilations all the way up to audits for all types of businesses around the region. We also provide wealth management services through the CNC Financial Group, which kind of basically the full service suite of wealth management brokerage services, and which is really kind of neat because we can integrate the tax and the wealth management and all of the financial services in one location. So
for those who have a business or not, just looking at what their tax implications are, where they're making investments, you can help them make great decisions.
That's correct. So we can look at the entire picture and help make the best tax advantageous investing decisions.
And we're going to talk a little bit later at the next segment about your CFO services, as well as how you're educating people on the new tax laws. But before we get there, let's talk a little bit about your background. So how long have you been with Cordell Neher? And
well, interesting story.
Okay.
So I actually started with Cordell Neher back in 1992. So I was near the start of when Cordell came into existence, and stayed there for about 7 years, 6.5 years, and left in 1998 to go work for Pacific Aerospace here locally, and as their corporate controller, and then later as their CFO. So I spent about 15 years at Pacific Aerospace, being the CFO at Pacific Aerospace. And then recently have come back to Cordell Neher and rejoined the firm just this past year.
What's that transition been like? Because you kind of are working in industry where
Correct.
You now advise people in industry. So has that been fun to come back to the other side and now work with clients from the accounting angle?
It has been. So I've always been a financial advisor.
Okay.
So even in the CFO role, I was a financial advisor to the board and the management of Pacific Aerospace. Now I get to use those same talents and bring it to our clients and be the financial advisor for our clients. So it's fun. It's a different industry every day now that I'm back in public accounting, because even between days, it can be different industries. Different clients come in with different needs, and it's fun to service all of those.
And we really have the full range of industries. North Central Washington being known for
Right.
agriculture, but technology companies. You were with a high-tech
Correct.
manufacturer. So that exposure, I imagine, is pretty vast.
Right. So. All industries, and at
Okay.
Cordell we do service all industries. Ag is a very big part of our practice, but also the medical field is a big part of all our medical professionals. Manufacturing, such as my experience with Pacific Aerospace, we have lots of manufacturers. So all across the spectrum of industries.
And where are your clients coming from? Are they just Wenatchee, or are they across the region?
They're across the region,
Okay.
Primarily the greater Wenatchee Valley, but we have clients actually from all over the U.S.
Oh, didn't know that.
Yeah, so we can service many clients in Oregon, California, even going as far away as Florida, New York. Not as many, primarily in the Wenatchee Valley,
But your firm has the capability to
we have the
support
capability to support all of those industries.
those services. Now let's talk a little bit about the personal side of the firm. Before we came on air, we're
Sure.
talking about your commitment to supporting nonprofits. The firm's a supporter of GWATA,
Right.
which we appreciate. What else does the firm do to support nonprofits or work with community partners?
Well, so like I mentioned before, Cordell Neher Company has deep roots in the community, and we really appreciate living here in the Wenatchee Valley. All of us love the Valley. Most of us grew up in the Valley. I moved to the Valley about 25 years ago, and it's been great. So Cordell has a commitment to the local community. We support lots of the nonprofits. We work with them closely. Many of our employees sit on boards of not-for-profits, and GWATA, we like to stay in touch with GWATA, to support the community, but also to keep up with technology. We like to keep up with our technology so we can advise clients on, best practices and best technologies to use.
You have a kind of a culture of professional learning, right? Because I see Cordell Neher associates in the community attending events, learning what's going on, staying really close to not only trends, but what's happening locally.
Oh, absolutely. We try to stay involved in the community, and professionally and not professionally. So we, on the professional side, we're always taking classes to try to improve our skills. We try to keep close to clients and non-clients to see what, like I said, the best practices are, so that we can advise on what works, what doesn't work.
And then for fun, the company also participates in an annual volunteer day. What is the?
We do. We call it the Community Service Day.
Okay.
So every year, once a year, we shut the office down completely for a day. So the office is just closed, locked up and closed, and all of us, which is about close to 40 people, go out and do a Community Service Day project. So some kind of project for the community.
And I was talking to Jenny Fashing, and your team is so big, and that's a lot of hands, 40 people to come in and do a project. So where have been some of your recent projects? What did you guys do this year?
So most recently, we went up to the YMCA camp at Lake Wenatchee, and we helped with a camp cleanup up there. That was, and some wood splitting and cabin cleaning and that sort of thing. And that's a big enough area that they could have 40 people, and you can kind of lose that many people up there. But they were projects that wouldn't have been done otherwise. So it's projects that couldn't have been done with their staff as they were staffing up for campers this summer. We helped them get cleaned up. Yeah, it was fun.
Something for nonprofits out there listening, if they've got a big project, to consider the Cordell Neher team for your annual.
That's right. If you need some unskilled labor,
put the computers away. You guys will get out there.
And we can get out there and help out. You bet. I know we've done painting in the past. fix up projects and that sort of thing as well.
Fantastic. Well, on that positive note, it's time for us to head to a break. But when we come back, Charlie and I are going to be talking about their CFO services that they offer to support your business, as well as what the new tax law changes mean for individuals and businesses. So stay tuned. For those of you just joining us on GWATA TV, we've been talking with Charlie Miracle, manager at Cordell, Neher Company, about the firm's background, about what Cordell Neher is passionate about. And now we're going to get into some of the nitty-gritty, but it's important information to know.
Sure.
So before we talk about the new tax law changes, we were mentioning during break that something unique about your firm is kind of this CFO for hire. So what is a CFO for hire services at Cordell Neher, and why is that an important
Sure.
offer?
So maybe we'll take just a quick step back,
Yes,
and
perfect.
we can do part of the other services we can do at Cordell Neher is bookkeeping services for our clients, all the way up through being a CFO. So we can. Some of the smaller businesses in town just can't afford to have a full-time bookkeeper on staff or even a stronger financial professional on staff, and so they can outsource those services to Cordell Neher Company. We can provide bookkeeping services all the way up to the CFO. The CFO type services are budgeting services, forecasting services. Maybe you need to fill out an application for a bank loan, don't know how to do that. You can come to us and we can help do that. Business plans, even strategic planning for your business. We can help with that. Maybe even exit strategies, and if you want to look for selling your business down the road, we can help plan now for that eventuality. And those types of services are fairly expensive, but when you need them, you need them. And we can offer those services at a reasonable price and give small businesses kind of at a competitive disadvantage to bigger businesses that can afford those full-time on staff. And so the smaller businesses, we can give back that competitive advantage of the planning and forecasting, which is a big part of success.
Well, it makes sense. I mean, if you wanted to bring on a salaried CFO to your company, that, as you mentioned, wouldn't fit for most small businesses.
No, they just can't afford it.
And they're so busy running the business.
That's correct.
That it's often hard to pause and look at things like forecasting or succession planning, which I think we've talked about at GWATA events and a little bit on air. With so many small businesses in our region, looking at your succession planning and how your business is going to transition is huge.
It's very important, and it's something you need to look at it takes years to put together a good plan and to execute that plan to get the maximum value when you decide you want to retire.
So for the small businesses who are kind of tuning in today, smaller, medium size, who maybe don't have these internal support mechanisms for the areas you just talked about,
Right.
Cordell Neher is a good option.
Cordell Neher is a good option for those types of services.
Okay.
And we can do it all.
Cordell Neher, talking about services, let's talk about the tax law.
Sure.
And so what's the story with that? Are we all going to save money on our taxes, Charlie?
Well, so the new tax law is big changes. That it came into effect last fall. There was everyone knows about the new big tax law. It was written pretty fast and passed really fast, and so there's a lot of rules and big sweeping rules changes, the biggest since 1986 really, and so there's a lot in it, and it's not just a cut and dry answer. But for most individuals, if you're just a W-2 wage earner and not much else, it's going to be tax savings for you. But if you have anything else on the side or a business that you're not just a W-2 wage earner, it's a little bit more complicated.
And this is a big deal. As you said, this tax law hasn't had such a sweeping change since 1986. So everyone who's done taxes in between now and then has never had to change their way of thinking when you talk about deductions
Right.
or how you plan to do your taxes at year end. So what advice would you give for individuals? Do individuals need to look up the new tax law or seek professional advice?
Yes, they do, actually. Most individuals are going to be just fine. Some of the higher wage individuals, even if you're just a W-2, but you might be on the higher scale, some of the withholding tables have changed, and you may find yourself having had refunds in the past, and all of a sudden there's no more refund anymore because the withholding tables took out less money.
Okay.
Not that your tax probably went down in total, but the withholding may have gone down even more, and you may find yourself owing some money at the end of the year. Come in before the end of the year to a tax professional, and we can help plan for that and save that surprise for you.
That way, April 15th next year, people aren't owing in a position of owing money or facing something unexpected.
Right.
And something you also mentioned was that although for most W-2 wage earners, there will be some savings, it's very individual, right?
It's very individual. It depends on your tax situation and if you itemize or don't itemize. There's been a lot of changes to the itemized deduction rules, and the new tax law is really making it much harder to itemize for individuals. So individuals are going to have a much larger standard deduction and much lower itemized deductions as a result of this tax law. Another big thing that's happening is that exemptions, personal exemptions and dependency exemptions are going away. So they're going to zero in effect. Okay. So that's another big change.
So for families,
that's a big change, although they've increased the individual child tax credit. So if you qualify for a child tax credit, you're going to get more credit, which is better than a deduction.
Okay. So lots of complications. It's not just a sweeping taxes are lower.
That's right.
Deductions have changed.
Right.
The tax brackets have changed. And so that's why it's important to seek professional advice.
That's right. And then if you own a business or are part of a business or a partner in a business that passes through income to you, so a Schedule C, sole proprietor, or if you're a partner in a partnership or S corporation, there's a new deduction out there called the Qualified Business Income Deduction, or QBID.
Okay.
And that's going to be that's a major change. It's a 20% deduction of your qualified business income, subject to certain limitations.
Okay.
And those limitation calculations can be very complex. And to maximize your deduction, there's no one answer for any business to help maximize that. It's a business by business calculation that you have to go through to maximize your tax benefit. And I encourage people, if you have a business out there, come in to see your tax professional, come in to see a CPA, and before the end of the year, so we can do some tax planning for you and help maximize that deduction.
And that's probably the biggest shift that people need to get ready for, is because of the change. They need to plan now and not in 2019
That's it.
For how they need to handle, which I know for most of us, we wait until the tax season is here, and then you're filling out your taxes and submitting them. But
right.
It's July, August, summertime. It's time to start doing that preparation now and seeking professional advice.
That's right. So everyone thinks the tax law is going to save money, and I'm going to get a bigger refund that come next April, and that's not necessarily the case.
Well, we're lucky to work with Cordell Neher through GWATA. They handle our taxes. So we appreciate that support. And for those of you who haven't met with their team before, I encourage you to connect with Charlie, the suite of 40 team members that they have there. And Charlie, before we head off air, I just want to say thank you for coming on.
You're very welcome.
To talk to our community about this important topic. And we'll be right back to wrap up today's episode. Well, it's time to wrap up another great episode of GWATA TV. I want to thank our guest today, Charlie Miracle from Cordell, Neher Company, for taking the time to share more about their firm, to talk about the services Cordell, Neher Company can offer to you as an individual or for your small business, as well as some information on the tax law changes. Something that you should know as a community member is that on the GWATA website, we have a full membership directory that you can search by particular services. So if you're wanting to find out more information from Cordell Neher about the tax law changes, you can find them on the GWATA website. You can also look for other financial providers such as August Edge, Clifton Larson Allen, Moss Adams, Homechick Smith and Associates. Lots of resources on the GWATA website for you, for your business, and for your educational learning. So I hope you will join us next time on GWATA TV. Have a great week.
Since 1999, GWATA has served as North Central Washington's Tech Alliance. As a 501c3, our mission is to bring people and technology resources together to create a thriving community. Through our work, we aim to inspire, engage, and connect.